Welcome back everyone to the Organic Archery YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering what has to be one of the most frequently asked questions on the internet forums by new bowyers. And that is, will insert your wood of choice make an English longbow? And from there, you're usually going to find answers that have been regurgitated for a very long time because they were written in some book years ago. And it'll go something like, you shouldn't make an English longbow out of that wood because it's too strong in tension and it's too weak in compression. And if you do, it will take excessive string follow and perform poorly, and it'll have massive hand shock, or it'll just fret across its entire belly and eventually break. And I have always had my suspicions about this, so I've been on a mission to figure out if it's true. So what exactly is an English longbow? Well, they happen to have very specific dimensions, and it's known as the 5/8 rule. And your bow must conform to the 5/8 rule to be considered a true English longbow. However, this bow style was also commonly called a D-bow, and that refers to its cross section. So if I was to saw the limbs in half and look at it from the side, the cross section would resemble a capital D. D-bows, like this one, were not only used by the famed medieval war archers, but it was also used by South American tribespeople. And it's been in use for many thousands of years and still is on the African savanna. And lastly, they were also being used by the Native American hunters and warriors along the eastern seaboard of the United States, who are well documented to have unusually tall and incredibly powerful longbows. And there are several examples in the Encyclopedia of Native American Bows, Arrows, and Quivers of rounded or oval cross sections. And of course, this is not universal. You will find many examples of rectangular cross sections as well. But for the sake of this video, let's just refer to these as D-bows and not English longbows, because this design was and still is in widespread use. I've been feeling very drawn to this design over the last 12 to 18 months. It's the iconic longbow shape, ye olde stick and string from the stories of Robin Hood, Will and Maurice Thompson, and Saxton Pope. And I just had to find out for myself if the rumors were true. So during that time, I've built probably a dozen of these from Hackberry, half a dozen or so from Ash, one from Mulberry, one from Hickory, and at least a dozen from Osage. But obviously Osage and yew are your premium bow woods. They're going to be able to handle either a flat bow or a longbow just fine. That's not the purpose of this video. We're here to find out how everyday backyard hardwoods handle the English style D-bow design. Let's see how they do. So the first wood I want to talk about is ash. This was one of the meanwoods that were used historically as a second string wood by the English for their war bows. Not all ash is created equal. We have several species growing in this area, and white ash is by far the best for bows. Black, blue, and green ash will not make as good of bows as white ash. And in my experiments with black ash, it's far too brittle and I don't use it. Ash is not incredibly dense, so it can handle longer lengths. I've had no issues running ash bows of moderate poundage between 60 and 70 pounds draw, up to 74 inches in overall length, with no noticeable increase in hand shock, no loss of performance, or other negative shooting characteristics. I have experienced some difficulty pushing the draw weights really high with Ash. If I get above 65 to 70 pounds, for me it starts to take excessive string follow, but that could also be my fault because I didn't heat treat it, and I certainly could have made the bows longer. This one finished out at 65 pounds at 28 inches, which would make it about 71 pounds at 30 inches. Here's a quick look at white ash before any stain or dye has been applied. If you were going to keep it traditional, you would leave this as is, but if you were going to hunt with it, you would probably want to darken it up. As you'll see in the upcoming shots, Ash is no slouch. It is critical that a very long bow be tillered with an elliptical shape. If these bows are bending too much in the handle, they will have terrible performance and excessive hand shock. And I have my suspicions that some of the rumors came from very long bows that were tillered incorrectly. And you can see at 65 to 70 pounds, this white ash started to take string follow. Moving right into Hackberry, which is one of my all-time favorite bow woods. And you may recognize some of these clips from the Utsi the Iceman replica video. Hackberry is very similar to elm in a lot of ways, which was another one of the traditional mean woods for war bows, mostly witch elm. Hackberry is a medium density hardwood that grows like a weed around here, and it tends to take over properties, so many farmers around here consider it to be a trash tree, and they're often clear cutting it. So it's very easy to get access to, and it is a pleasure to work with hand tools. It yields readily to the draw knife and the rasp, and it's light in physical mass, so it makes an unusually fast shooting bow with no hand shock. This one finished out at 70 pounds at 26 inches, which would put it right around 76 pounds at 28 inches and 82 pounds at 30 inches. And it was a little bit wider at 1.5 inches. I don't have any shots of the resting profile for this one because it's an older build, but after an overnight rest, the bow recovered to perfectly flat. When carefully made, Hackberry makes very fast bows. Mulberry is another common medium density hardwood, and this is a little bit of a softer wood. In my experiments with it, it dings easily, and this bow was originally a couple inches longer, but I had to pike it because the string was splitting the nocks. Which is unusual. So I wrapped the nocks and went with double slip knots, so there are no string grooves, but you might consider overlays or horn nocks for Mulberry. Notice once again the center section is just barely bending. The bow ended up shooting very nicely, and it took almost no string follow, and I look forward to working with Mulberry more. Here's a little bonus. Of course, Osage and Yew are premium bow woods that can handle many different profile shapes. So finally, we're moving into the forbidden longbow wood. Hickory is the one that is foretold to have compression issues, and yeah, it's just rumored to make terrible longbows. So naturally, I had to find out for myself. I do want to make a note about these extremely dense woods like osage and hickory. I have found that if you try to stretch the length out too far, they do become very shocky. The upper limit for me for osage is around 72 inches, although that can be hit or miss. I really prefer 70 inches and under for osage. And at that length, it can still handle some very serious draw lengths. For hickory, I tried to make this one 74 inches, and it just didn't feel quite right. So cutting it down to 72 inches fixed all of its problems. Which leads me to believe hickory is a touch too dense to stretch out farther than about 6 feet long. But of course, that doesn't mean it's true for everyone. So I encourage you to do what you want and find your own upper limits for the length of these extremely dense hardwoods. This one finished out at 70 pounds at 28 inches, which would be roughly 76 at 30, and we're about to see just how poorly it shoots. Here's the side profile right after shooting. This bow does not have an aggressive heat treatment or a fire hardening, and we've been getting a ton of rain lately. It's a pretty heavy bow, and it's only 1¼ inches wide, so I'm feeling pretty confident about hickory. There you have it, guys. It's so important when you're first learning to build bows that you don't just find a bowyer you like or one with a large internet following and listen to every word they say as if it was gospel. There are people out there finding that some of these rules carved in stone by the early bowyers and in the early archery texts might not be quite as true as we once thought they were. If you want an English style longbow, identify a hardwood or a semi-hardwood that grows readily available in your area and give it a try. If it's not the optimal design for that wood, it might take compression fractures, but that's also normal when you're first learning to build bows, so don't blame it on the wood. It doesn't matter whether it's a flat bow or a long bow. If it's tillered poorly, which you're likely to do as a beginner, it's going to take compression fractures to let you know the wood is overstressed. But if it does take compression fractures, so what? Shoot it until it breaks, throw it away and start a new one. The ease of construction of this style of bow is one of the major pros. It doesn't matter which design you go with, just have fun with it. And remember, never become too attached to a stick until it has proven itself faithful for at least a few hundred arrows. I see it online, on the forums especially, all the time. People will just fall in love as soon as it starts looking like a bow, and you do not want to do that. It will save you a lot of heartache in the early years if you make your bow prove itself before you become attached. But before I sign off, I owe you guys a bow giveaway. Obviously, I didn't make anything in this video, so there's not going to be a giveaway for the comment section today. I still really appreciate you guys' subscriptions and comments, but I do need to give away this 65-pound Neolithic Ash Longbow from my last bow build. So if you guys are new here, I give away everything I make on the channel. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win is subscribe to the channel and comment on any bow build you'd like to enter. But yeah, I've got my random comment picker already pulled up here. 1 second. All right. paste the link, and fetch the winner. Irvin Taylor, 6508. Irvin's comment says, I've been a bow hunter since my early teens, always with a compound. Watching your videos has sparked my interest to take up traditional archery. Keep up the fantastic work. I love this Neolithic bow, and I would love to win it. Congrats, Irvin Taylor. You just won, my friend. So Irvin Taylor, 6508. Reach out to me at the email on my website. There's a link in my bio in YouTube. There's also a link in the description of this video. Which reminds me, guys, let's use the honor system with these giveaways. If I start to get a bunch of spam emails from people trying to claim prizes they didn't really win, I'm just gonna have to stop doing them. Also, I see the couple of you that are spamming the comments to increase your chances of winning. You'll be doing stuff like comment love, comment this, comment Neolithic, comment bow. Don't do that. If you win from spamming the comments, I'm just gonna skip over you and pick another winner. And same applies to the trolls. If you guys are leaving nasty comments, probably just gonna skip you. So don't be a turd. Let's keep it real. You guys just stay honest with these giveaways, and yeah, I'll keep it real with you, and I'll send them out promptly. I'm just trying to spread the love and give away all this cool stuff. So that's it for today, guys. I look forward to making more videos, and I'll see you next time. You know it's overstressed. What am I talking about? That's not the purpose of this video. Gilbert, shut the f*** up, bro.